Here goes nothing. Mysteries abound, made of a deep energy. Folks all around, but I will go fearless free. I'll give you strength, you give me love, that's how we live. Courage won't fade. If you're with me, my enemies will never win. We will fight for love and glory. We will live to tell the story. There is nothing we can't get through. Nothing ever dies, we rise again. Yeah, sing it out. Don't stop, we're in luck now. Don't stop, there's so much to be found. We can find paradise. All we have to do is go free your soul. Dragon soul. I'm too old for this. I think we should do another song. Now I'm feeling it. All right, but you guys desperately need to help me with this one. You ready? You got that track up for me? Here we go. Kick it up. Remember how you used to be Rickrolled? You're getting frozen rolled. Snow blows wide on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the king. Howling, come on, who knows it? Roll inside, come here, Naruto.
Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I've tried.
Let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be.
Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know.
But now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Run away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. Ready? Verse 2.
Small, and fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all.
It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break. Yeah, right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free.
Let it go, let it go. Blah, 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 blah. Let it go, let it go.
Away and slam the door.
I don't care what the words really are. Let the storm rage on. Who knows the bridge?
My power flourished to the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. There was just another rising left. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. never bothered me anyway.
Thank you, guys. That was a curveball I threw at you. Let's give those sound guys a big hand. I want to get a question from Master Roshi. Master Roshi! What's your question? Can I say hi to your friend? He will die if he hears Broly. There's one problem. I don't sound like Broly. What's his name? Hey Ray, how are ya? Ray has died. He's not there. Ray, are you there? Broly sends his love. Yes, sir.
I was wondering what it was like to play basically a deranged psychopath like Mao.
Well, a deranged psychopath like Mao. Well, you gotta remember, Mao's, he's funny. So you can get away with a lot of the derangement. Because he's more of a comedic, he's kind of harmless. Like nobody's really afraid of him. Nobody's afraid that Mao's going to hurt them. He's more like, oh, I'm just gonna, everyone's like, yeah, sure, whatever, kid. Monica, do you have a good question? Your question better not be, can I hit you with this wrench? Is this an awesome winry or what? Stand up. Yay! Oh my gosh, you look amazing. You guys gonna come by later? All right. Yes, sir.
So do you plan to do more Star Trek continues?
OMG, yes. As much as I can. I don't know why I just did that. We're actually shooting our next episode in January, and we're actually shooting 4 and 5 back to back. So there'll be a 4 and 5, and then if you don't mind me telling you this, we're launching a Kickstarter probably in November to help raise money to make more. Because what you may or may not understand is Star Trek is a licensed property. CBS owns Star Trek, which means you can't just make Star Trek and sell it. That's called stealing. But that's not why I made it. You know what I mean? Marissa? Yeah. I didn't make it to make money. I don't care about money. I wanted to make it because it's been my childhood dream since I was your age to play Captain Kirk. And so it's purely for passion and love of Star Trek. I credit Star Trek with inspiring me to do all the things that I do professionally today. Isn't that weird? I mean, everybody has something like that, right? All of you. How many of you guys draw? Okay, I want you to think back with me. I want you to think back to the first time you tried to draw something.
Oh.
Now wait a minute. Stick with me here, because I think I'm onto this. I think I know what I'm talking about here. All of you have been given some gift. Maybe even a couple. But you all have something that you've been given. God has given you an innate talent for something. And I'm not talking about necessarily even something creative. Just something that you are really good at, naturally. The question is, what comes into your life that brings that out? How do you find out that you're good at something, right? So like a lot of you guys, you're watching anime, and you see this beautiful artwork, and you're like, man, I want to draw like that. I want to draw that character. I'm inspired by this show, and I want to draw that character. And some little voice in your head says, who are you kidding? You've never drawn anything in your life. You don't know how to draw. What are you talking about? But you tried it anyway, and you were good at it. You found that you had a talent for it. Or you were watching a movie, or even an anime, or reading a comic book, and you're like, dang, look at that costume. I would love to be able to build that costume. I want to be able to make that costume. And some little voice in your head goes, who are you kidding? You've never built anything in your life. You can't make that. You've never done that. But you tried it anyway. and you were really good at it. You made this kick-butt costume. You wore it to the con, everybody took your picture, and you're like, dang, you stumbled across something you had a natural skill at. Star Trek was that for me. When I was 9 and 10 years old, I didn't do squat. I didn't act, I didn't sing, I didn't make movies, I didn't build costumes, I didn't shoot film, I didn't do any of that. But I watched this TV show and I was enthralled. I was like, wow, I want to build one of those little things they flip open and talk into. Communicator. And I would go to the hardware store and I would look for crap that I could put together to make one of those. I would sit in front of the television every day with tape and glue and cardboard and anything and build phasers and communicators. And then I got my mom to teach me to use a sewing machine so I could make my own uniforms. I was so, you see the pattern? Surfing inspires you to try something you've never tried before. And then I watched Star Trek and I wanted to act. I wanted to be Captain Kirk. So I started getting into school plays and auditioning for church productions and anything I could to learn how to act and perform. Then my mom gave me a movie camera. This is long before video, by the way. There were no video cameras. Like film cameras. My mom gave me an 8mm film camera made by Minolta. I still remember. It was a Minolta 401. Can you believe that crap? I still remember that. That's a long time ago, guys. And I rounded the other kids in the neighborhood up, and I made them wear the costumes that I had made and make Star Trek episodes. And I would hang models in front of black poster board and move the Enterprise across the poster board and shoot it and try to make movies. Fast forward 30 years, my college degree is in film. And I've executive produced and directed and shot and edited and sound designed 100 different film projects. Because at one point in time, I was inspired to try some creative thing that I'd never tried before. And you guys totally know what I'm talking about, don't you? So stick with those things that you like doing. You guys all have some natural talent for something, and I encourage you to stick with it. Yes, sweetie.
So, kind of the two was, understandably, Aaron Dismuke could not play Alphonse in this series because he matured. And one is, how did you guys take that? And then two, I saw you told a story about this time Aaron fell off his seat and got stuck, and I want you to say that.
Well, first of all, you guys, I love Aaron as if he were my own flesh and blood little brother. It's really very providential that I got cast to play a kid who has a younger brother that he loves so much. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm an only child. And I always wanted to have a little brother. I mean, I'm sure an older brother would be okay. I'm sure an older sister would be fine. I'm sure a younger sister would be fine. But I always thought it would be great to have a little brother. And here comes this show, and I get cast as this kid who has a little brother and is protective of him and loves him and looks out for him, and they stick by each other, you know what I mean, and support each other. So Aaron and I really bonded from doing this show together. And when it came time to do Brotherhood, and Aaron didn't sound like Alphonse anymore. I mean, he went from brother to brother. I'm not kidding. I mean, he's 6 foot something, and his voice is lower than mine now. So Funimation had a big challenge, and that was we need to find somebody to step into this role of this very beloved character and try to continue it in a way that is not too jarring. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want people to go, oh, that doesn't sound like him at all, or, oh, that's stupid. You don't want that. You want people to accept it. Oh, this is Al. Okay, it's Al. So I think Maxie Whitehead did an amazing job as Alphonse in Brotherhood. Did you enjoy Alphonse in Brotherhood? She did an amazing job, and she had no small shoes to fill. Aaron was one of the only people who could say he was actually playing a 12-year-old boy, and he was 12 years old. Boy playing a 12-year-old boy. I mean, it was him. And Maxie was very nervous about it at the beginning because she started looking into Full Metal and seeing how popular it was, and she was really worried about how she would be received. But she did an amazing job. But it was really hard for Aaron not to be that role anymore. It was hard for him. And I loved him desperately. You guys, I have such fond memories of him and I doing conventions together when he was 12 years old. Like, his mom would bring him. We would be in Toronto at the Fan Expo. And here's me, grown up, and this 12-year-old little boy. And we mess with each other, and, we have snowball battles when we go to conventions together. You know what I mean? I love the kid. We have a great connection. And I'll never forget sitting at a convention, or being at a convention with Aaron, and he would sit beside me as we would sign autographs. And we finished an autograph session one day, and we went to, I'll never forget it, it was one of those spaghetti places where they have butcher paper on the table, and they give you crayons, and you can draw on the right. Aaron and I were sitting beside each other, and his mom was sitting across from him, and he looked at me and he said, "You sign your name so fast." He's like, "Can you show me how to do that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we picked up crayons, and right there on the butcher paper, I'm like, "Okay, Aaron, it's not necessary to make out every letter in your name when you sign your name." Because he was the cutest thing. It's like he was taking penmanship classes. Signing his name, he'd be like, A, R, O. I'm like, for the love of God. There are 1,000 people waiting for autographs. Please. So I showed him, I'm like, okay, look, what's the big letter in your name? Aaron. He's like, A. I'm like, right. So do this. Like make a mountain. And so he would do it. And then I said, after that, just do a little trail off after the A. And then, like, do a nice big cool D, a big capital D, and have the tail of the D kind of go underneath your first name. And then just scribble a little bit and then put like a little heartbeat, boom, which would be the K of Dismuke. He sat there the whole time practicing with a crayon on this butcher paper. And his mother's like, "Eat, Aaron." And so I have such fond memories of him and our experience together with Full Metal. I love him. Yes? How are we doing on time? I'm sorry, I didn't even look. Oh my gosh, we're late. Yes?
Question and then a request. So, my request is if we could do the fusion. And then my question is, are you working on anything new? Or
I'm so glad you asked. See, that's something I should be talking about, and I always forget. Yes, I'm working on a lot of new stuff. Anybody here watching Digimon? Digimon and Pokemon. Anybody watching Carnival? I played a character in Attack on Titan. He gets bitten in half, but he was there. I call it the Darth Maul syndrome. It's like, make no mistake, he's not coming back. You know what I mean? Did you ever hear that story about Darth Maul? George Lucas, so many people were enjoying Darth Maul that George Lucas wanted to make absolutely sure that everyone knew he was not coming back. And that's why he wrote in the scene where he literally gets chopped in half by the lightsaber, and you see his two separate body pieces falling out. So I'm playing this character in Titan, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's cool. He may last into the second season. Oh, no, probably not. Like, he literally got chomped in half. So I'm working on a show called Heroes. I'm working on a Pac-Man thing, and I'm working on a show called Lagrange. I'm working on, I just did a new thing in Pokemon, for a new Pokemon thing, and 4 or 5 other things that's slipping my mind right now. but just trying to stay busy. And Star Trek, of course, takes a lot of time. Okay, what is this thing we're doing, the fusion thing? What is that from? Wait a minute, is that from the Ginyu Force? Oh my God. Do you guys, I bet you don't even know. Everybody knows I played Broly, but I also played another character in Dragon Ball Z. And most people don't know. From the Ginyu Force, the little blue guy that runs real fast. Well, he's not that little. But, okay, come here, let's do it real quick. You gotta show me, and we'll do it right for this camera right here. For all of America. Can you pull this ring? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you guys, I've gone over my time. I know, I should start is that a chimp? Is that a monkey holding the American flag? America! What is that? It is. Wait a minute, it's the monkey you found where for $1? At the thrift shop? Oh my gosh. Did you put that embarrassing clothing on that monkey too? Do you have a question? Okay, I think the monkey should get the last question. What is your question, monkey? Who's asking the question? Oh, they're fighting over who's going to ask the question. How was it to play Grease in Italian? Well, you know what? The funny thing about Grease is that I so desperately wanted to, there was a character I wanted to play really badly.
It was Italy, huh?
You know what nationality I am?
Yes,
Vic Mignogna. Vittorio Mignogna. I'm Italian. I wanted to play Italy so bad. And not only that, but here's a fun little trivia that I bet you don't know. The Japanese actor who played Italy in the original also played Phi in Tsubasa Chronicle, who I played. So I'm like, I have to do this. Who do I have to give money to? I mean, I have to get this role. So I auditioned for it. It came down to, quite honestly, it came down to me and Todd. And, but Todd could go higher in his voice than I could. And so he's doing an amazing job, by the way. I would never take anything away from anybody. But after they cast that, they asked me if I would play Grease. And I was like, awesome. What's Grease like? And they're like, oh, well, he's a pervert. And you instantly thought of me. What did I do to you? I gave you money. But you know what, to be honest with you, I've really enjoyed Grease. He's a fun character. And he's kind of, you know, from that same Mediterranean area that Italy is, so he's kind of a neighbor of Italy. But if you haven't seen Italia, Grease is, yeah, he's obsessed with cats, and he's obsessed with Japan, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So, like, you could literally, Grease, 90% of what he says is, you know, I love cats. Can you turn the mic up for me? Turn the mic up for me a little bit. Can you bring the mic up? Bring it up? Yes, he's like, I like cats. I like the Olympic Games. When the athletes would run naked. Yeah, that's the weirdness of him. Japan. I love when the cats. That's all he ever says, cats. It's always cats. You guys, I love you. I hope you had fun. I'm going to my autograph session. I will look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for coming, you guys. I love you.